Ladies and gentlemen, the warmest of welcomes to the High School Esports League Fall Major Finals. Today, it's going to be Rocket League, followed a little bit later by Fortnite. I'm Legday, and I'm joined by the wonderful fountain of four-wheeled knowledge, Ira Leak.
You're so flattering, and I could flatter you as well, Mr. Legday, but I'm going to be truthful in saying it is a pleasure to be here with you as well. It's my fourth time here, your first time, of course, and it's a bit of a new era here today as we are guaranteed to crown a brand new HSEL winner in the Rocket League category. 3 times winners Ridgewood are out of the picture, and so, well, the king is dead. Long live the king, as they say.
Exactly so, Ira Leak. And it may be my first time here, but we have been going all week. We've been doing game after game, and we've been handing out scholarship money left and right to the best high school players in a multitude of esports. And you're going to have 2 fresh ones coming today. But it's not just the players, Ira Leak, who have something to gain from this stream. We've also got our own HSEL giveaway, and we're doing a giveaway all week long. Type giveaway in the chat to learn how you can win some awesome ASUS products.
And a very nice shout out to our lovely sponsors as well, all across the board. You're going to hear plenty of them as well, not only just, of course, over this broadcast, but in Fortnite later. We'll get to them in due time, but a reminder that is exclamation mark giveaway, I should say, in chat. Asus products, some of my favorites, honestly, Mr. Legday. Got a lovely Asus keyboard here in front of me. Used Asus screens plenty of times in the past as well, so good quality products, and you definitely want to get yourselves in with a chance of winning them.
You're not even selling out. I've got an ASUS monitor right there, and it's served me well for a long time. 5 years going strong and no complaints. But there are going to be a couple complaints from some of the guys who've already been knocked out of our bracket. We'll be able to take a quick look at that. But as Ira Leak pointed out earlier, we are down to just 2 teams. Representing the East Coast, coming out of Brooklyn, New York, we have Poly Prep, who went 9-0 in the regular season, Ira Leak. And I think that it's fair to say these guys are coming into this match as definite favorites.
Oh, absolutely. The 9-0 record speaks for itself. It's also worth saying that they made it to the last finals up against the aforementioned Ridgewood. Did their best, but ultimately Ridgewood a little bit too good on their day. And where the throne is now empty, of course, I think Poly Prep very much eyeing it up. Made up of Tiny, Leons, MotoGod. MotoGod in particular, the only supersonic legend that we're going to be seeing here today if you want to go by Rocket League rank. Of course, there's a little bit more to Rocket League than that. You got team synergy, you got the whole morale situation, but if you got that mechanical skill to back yourself with, then ultimately that's always a great starting point, a great foundation to build off. And for Snider Esports, they were ranked 14th, actually. They were seeded 14th. I know there's been a couple of people a little bit suspect about that. They're definitely showing up, though. 7-2 record for them. Got plenty of good players. Kraut's their captain, a grand champ in his own right. So are they going to win here? It's very possible. This is Rocket League. It is a crazy game on the worst of days, an absolutely insane game on the best of days. And I'm sure whatever the result here, of course, both of these teams making it is very much a brilliant statement in and of itself.
Like you said, I relate. There is far more to this than just the ranks in Rocket League. The talent, the mental, the fortitude to be able to go through tilting situations, and communication, especially communication. That's one of the reasons why esports is such a profitable venture for students, working on that teamwork, learning how to effectively communicate with others, and tough it out when going isn't quite as streamlined as you'd like is one of the primary skills which can really be crafted here.
Oh, yeah, and you look at the other games that you see out there in the esports world, the likes of Overwatch or Rainbow Six, Rocket League, these teams are down to 3 players, and so although you can have that one person with an absolutely clutch moment, a pop-off series, ultimately, when it comes to the majority of these matches, there are only 3 people on each team, and they've got to rely on each other. They've got to communicate with each other, because if you get 2 people taken out to play, then your defense is going to look very, very shaky indeed. We're getting started. It's a best of 7 leg day. Feel free to take us away.
Oh, straight away, we are moving in towards the Poly Prep goal. The Poly Prep, of course, are going to be in blue right here, but MotoGod grabs possession. That's going to be a miss from Leons, though, so the ball's gone a little bit wide.
Into midfield is Leon again, looking to make his way past one. Tiny comes in with the, well, attempted clearance. He's going to, again, be given time, move out from the back here, cut out. MotoGod in the midfield is taken off in by Leon. Shot saved away by Kraut. And as we exit the first minute, a very timid, a very tepid start, I say this is leg day. Both teams effectively just trying to figure each other out first and foremost, not looking to take any big risks that might leave their defenses open.
Getting a feel for the tempo, but right now there is potentially a play here for Snider. That's a miss from Kraut, and that means that MotoGod also missing. This ball's just bouncing around in midfield right now, but finally, the three-man attack from Polly.
That was unfortunate there, going for a demo play in net, of course. If you're new here to Rocket League, then if your car is going fast enough, if you make contact with an enemy vehicle, then they are going to be removed from the field and respawned in one of the far corners. And so it does open up a lot of offensive lanes, that, as up to the top of the box. We will find now possession lying in the hands of Leons, who's been on the ball a lot today. Here's House around the corner, and it's a weak touch off the backboard from Tiny. Infield, Leon in the right place at the right time to bring it out again.
Yeah, put into the box, but that's a nice clear. Right now, it's going to bounce to the goalie. That's a steal! Oh, straight off his bonnet. That's absolutely filthy, Ireleak. The rudeness of it, he just thought he had control, but that's where he was wrong.
And this is going back to the communication front. You had two people coming in off the backboard just to get back into net. Naz's touch had to be perfect. And it was not. It was handed straight into the hands of Leon, which we have to give credit to him, of course. He was on the scene immediately to make the most of it. And it's an early lead for Polly, the favourites in today.
Leon's not just about the shots, he's about the goals as well. That's going to go a little bit wide in front of net, but it's still in a dangerous position, so that's going to have to be cleared by Polly. Needs a little bit more power on that. Is going to get it around the first goalie, but Krauf is going to get the mid-air intercept. And with a demolition onto Moto, this could be a chance.
Well, there's a boost steal, but unfortunately the ball falling away from him, and this is going to fall very nicely to Tiny. An easy shot, but two players on the back line there going to secure it. MotoGod off the backboard, he tries to find an infield pass. Tiny a little bit far off to the side, keeps possession again. Worth just saying that it's good to keep it out of orange hands. Of course, a 1-0 lead, a little bit precarious. You always want to get that second, and especially with a miss off the backboard, you know that mistakes like that, they're going to start to creep into the mind. If you've done it once, you can done it again. Just over 2 minutes left, and is this going to be another one slipping through? No. Kraut's surely just going to get this out. He gets a challenge in on Leon, but again, blue swarm just swathing over this net now, leg day, as they look to press for a second. Oh my goodness me, Kraut there almost handing it to Tidy. It is real rough waves at the moment for Snider.
Leon's missing it in mid-air. However, Tiny's going to try and take charge off the backboard. It's going to be a tap, but Modo's going to miss. Leon with the second attempt. It's an absolute barrage of shots towards this goal, but they're continually going wide. I'm not sure what happened with that one, Ireleak, but it is going to connect, and Tiny is going to add themselves to the board. 2-0 to Poly Prep.
Well, Tiny just goes in for the challenge there on Naz, and ultimately it pinches off into the goal. Completely deceived the final man on the line there, which in the RLCS scene we tend to say, you hate to see it, but you really do, because sometimes there's nothing you can do to predict those. It's a hard game to predict at the best of times, Rocket League, and now with that 2-goal lead, Poly Esports are going to be flexing, they're going to be comfortable, and they really have Snider on the ropes here, as once again in net there, struggling to clear away, panicking to clear away. Poly Esports in the driving seat.
Leon's not quite getting something like a flip reset right there. Now wants to intercept the clearance, but isn't going to be able to get that one. Now it's all hands on deck to maybe try and rotate for the defense. Tiny's going to put it off the backboard, but that's only going to set... Oh, though, on the interception. And it's going to possibly be played back into the midfield. So it's going to be a bit of a mid-air 50-50. Not quite on target.
And that's a shame, unfortunately. Naz and his teammate, they're just getting all tied up with each other, and this going all the way down the other end. It's requiring a late save from Kraut as they look to try and save their blushes, but again the defense just opens up, and it's a free shot on target for Tiny. You got to get these clearances out, but we've got to give credit again to Leon's really standing out to me today, leg day, especially in game number 1. Such a nuisance for the defense, constantly up, constantly challenging, and not giving these guys at Snider any chance to rest on their laurels.
It disrupts your comm structure, right? When you got to consistently worry, where's Leon's? Well, I'll tell you where Leon's is. Getting the double tap off the backboard. Is it just going to roll in? Tiny with the 3! Oh my goodness. He's not letting him rest early.
And this is a 50-50 challenge that Tiny will have been dreaming of Yes, that second touch does come in, but Tiny opens the body up and basically says, okay, if you're going to clear this, you're going to have to get past it. It's almost like a goalkeeper mentality where, you've got to spread your arms wide, you've got to spread your posture wide to give yourself the best starting position to stop that ball from going any further. But, well, I talked about flexing. Modo God enters from the heavens, 5-0.
Just coming in from above. It's as easy as it gets. It's a basically empty net. You've only got your friends there, and they're not going to be the ones blocking it. Poly Esports in an inassailable position, 5-0. But this is far from a foregone conclusion for this series, Ironic, because we are in a best-of-7 format. There's a lot of time here for Snider to try and just warm up their mechanics a bit, figure out the Poly Esports tempo, and figure out how they want to come back in the next match.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that Rocket League certainly has as something unique over other esports, where it's very fast and furious, these 5 minutes. They go by incredibly quickly. At the end of game 1, in fact, we already are with 5 goals scored on the board. You've got to consider each of those celebrations is worth 30 seconds in of itself. And these series, because they go so quick, you've got 1-2 minutes between each game to make your adjustments, to try and figure out, okay, our game plan didn't exactly go as well as we wanted it to. How can we adjust? And I'm sure these players are going to be happy to know as well that in between games 3 and 4, they're going to have a slightly bigger break. So if all fails in these next 2 minutes or so for Snider, if it all fails after game number 2 as well, they'll have a bigger break to just reset and hopefully come back into a better mind state. You got to win 4. And ultimately, that break is going to come before the 4 is won in the best case scenario for Poly Esports. Honestly, a weird situation here where there's not many shots on the board, but Polyprep were clinical. 7 shots on target, 5 of them converted. That is a good day at the office for any team.
And only 3 shots over there for Snider, none of them being the full connection that they wanted. And it feels like maybe they need to be coordinating their attacks just a little bit better, Ironic, and having that third man on the ready when the ball starts to go astray. Because we haven't seen the greatest clearances, if I'm honest, from Polyprep. It feels like it's not the cleanest clearance. They're trying to play a little bit more for control. But when you are playing for that control and you're trying to dribble it out, you are vulnerable to those challenges. And if a 50-50 doesn't go your way, you could find yourself in an incredibly precarious position, especially if you've invested some boost and those corner pads are gone.
And that is the rope of hope right now that Snider have to grab onto and start to climb up. Because you're absolutely right, Polyprep, their defense wasn't too great. There were a little couple of moments there where, especially early game, both teams seemed to be a little bit too hesitant to make that press. So Snider, can they bounce back now? The opportunity is there for them. They've just got to take it.
Going to be claimed right here. Has to be. Poly Esports are in the lead. Although Leon's right now just trying to keep up the momentum right here with a quick demolition. However, they've lost Modo, so that third man's unavailable.
It's Tiny. Shot on target. Oh, actually, it was a little bit wide. It looked better from the angle which I had. And a nice challenge here. Easy fall to Modo. Got a miss, though, and Kaisama putting it out into the middle. Switch over to the Fennec, I noticed as well, from the Dominus that he was rocking in game number 1. A slightly more boxy type of hitbox that they're working with here. Very prominent in the RLCS. Actually, I'd say they've overtaken the Dominus. A little bit more of a power hit of that one. Of course, the majority of cards you see on the pitch, the Octane, quite good for those technical plays. But there's the power shots that I was talking about, leg day. Modo God on the board, 1-0.
Just an absolute snipe from a midfield here, getting the perfect angle. And well, that was a gamble, Does Kaisama have enough boost to catch up to this? It was a bet that was taken by Modo God, and it ended up working out well. That's what you got to do. You got to test the resource management of your opponents. That is going to be a mid-air interception. It will keep the ball under control and in a safer area for Poly Esports on their defense before going for that clear and catching it in the air.
Modo God with a miss, and again, there's options, there's opportunities, there's lanes for Snider to expose here, but the confidence, you can tell, is a little bit lacking. Polyprep, even going into this match, a bit of a titan when it comes to HSEL, and well, the most ironically named titan of them all, Tiny, gets his name on the board as well. Of course, a hat-trick in game number 1. He's already on the board in game number 2, and things, it's just seeming a bit like one-way traffic right now. Snider, they gotta pump themselves up, because otherwise Poly Esports are just going to walk all over them.
Teen Titans was only the beta release. It's Tiny Titans that really are the full. Kraft right now looking to try and make sure this doesn't get pushed into their goal, but of course Modo's going to be more than keen to try and take that. That's a double commit, but it still works out. It's a little bit messy, Irelic, but you know what? I can't argue with results.
It's a double commit on the defense. Krauth a little bit hesitant on the backboard. Ultimately, it didn't matter which two of those players got the final touch, because I can guarantee you it was going into the back of a very wide open net. It's such a shame to see Snider just cracking a little bit under the pressure, and Poly Esports, with each goal that goes in, with each goal unanswered, things are going to get better and better. That's another good opportunity here for Snider. Get on target and you've probably got your goal back. A good save off the backboard there from Krauth, of course, the captain, who really needs to ring it to his team now. Come on, lads. We're 3-0 down. Let's at least get one on the board so that we can start a redemption trail.
Leadership quality is one of the main things that esports can help these players build. Right now, though, this might be Snider's chance. They're so close to the goal. I'm not sure what mess put it in, but it's enough to get that first goal, and it's breaking that ceiling, Ireleague. They were under the yoke of the 0-goal sort of just the prejudice that is put against that. But now that they've broken that, maybe that team morale will come back up. We can do this. We can equal up Poly.
It's a monkey off the back, certainly. And we saw that good 50-50 challenge win last game with Tiny. Similar strategy here for Krauth, and you got to give credit, I feel, also to Naz, who popped it over the top of the first defender and allowed Krauth to come in. It's another good opportunity. If it's going to be taken, it's far post. Oh, it's missed! An amazing save there to deny Naz by Leons all the way down the other end, and it's a massive save from Krauth, who's just respawned.
Oh, captain, my captain, please save this goal. The second one's going to be coming in. It's Tiny again. This boy's unstoppable. He might not be our supersonic legend, but as the captain of Poly Prep, he is definitely pulling more than his tiny weight.
Even the most experienced of RLCS caliber players wouldn't have been able to place a shot as well as that. A lovely slice, unsavable, underneath the beans on toast, and Tiny once more. It's a big save from Krauth again, who notched up 4 saves, but that's a massive challenge from Krauth again. The captain really trying to steer his ship away from the rocks here. Oh, it's a lovely interception and another big save from Leons. Finally! Yes, there's still 3 goals down, leg day, but at least we're seeing some ambition. At least we're seeing some attempts to jump over their opposition here. This is what I want to see from Snider, and hopefully that'll do them good as the series progresses.
Leon's field presence is just so overwhelming right now. So many touches, so many dribbles, and well-placed saves as well. Modo misses the mid-air interception, but Tiny's going to go for a second one. Still, this is in a vaguely safe area for Snider to try and look for a clear, but it's straight into the hands of Leon. So try and challenge us again, but they're running low on boost, Ireleague.
And the boost game, certainly not something that we've talked about much, but it really does make the difference. If you've got a mechanically cracked player on your team, then believe you me, you want them to have as much boost as possible, to go for crazy hits, to go for the flip resets, to go for the power shots. And right now it is Poly Prep dominating that boost game, but that's a little bit of a pain, and Krauth bounced off it by Modo God. With 60 seconds left, it's still a tall order for Snider here. They try and find semblance of control in the series. It's probably going to go to Poly at the end of game 2, but there's still such positive results from this game in of itself, leg day. The fact that they've scored a goal, the fact that they look dangerous going forward, the fact that Poly's defense really hasn't actually gotten any better. Unfortunately, it's the offense which they also need to worry about, and as much as they press, they're going to leave themselves open at the back as well. That's a lovely double tap from Leon's the Stallion. Well, believe you me, that is
beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That's on the cover of GQ magazine. Leon's going to put it a little bit high, trying to keep it out of harm's way. But right now, Snider can be a flurry of offense. The flurry was not required, however. A singular shot, Kaisama had it set up for him by the enemy. Thanks to that one, guys.
That's a better pass than I think a lot of people will give him credit for there, Krauth. Not exactly an Atlas sort of performance where he's putting the entire team on his back, but moments like that where you can open the lane, where you can pull a defense, are just what strikers pray for every single game. And again, it's another good backboard opportunity here. I'm seeing a chance for the coaches of Snider to say, listen, you know, this defense hasn't looked great. Let's just throw it to the backboard and see what happens, because, okay, our defense isn't great, but neither is theirs. And if we can go for these long clearances, if we can do something that Poly hasn't actually been too good at over the course of these 2 games, maybe we can spring a surprise. It is going to go the way of Poly Esports then in game number 2. A very convincing 5-2 scoreline, but lots to look forward to, I feel, for Snider after this one, leg day. Not only goals, but it looks like they feel like they can actually do something in this series now. Yes, the shot count was up for both teams, but, you know, this is what they've got to build off now. They've got something to work with, and hopefully they can come out of the gates really punching, really jabbing, really ferocious, just to catch this dominant team off guard.
It's iteration, right? It's iterative as we go map to map, getting slightly better, getting more feels to your opponents. Where's Modo going to be? Where's Leon going to be? I feel like at the moment they might have allowed Leon to hang back a little bit and really put Tiny into that primary striking role, because they are racking up so many goals right now and often the finisher. But it feels like we're seeing a couple of misses from Polyprep. Like we saw Modo God kind of flounder in the goal when that pass was set up, like you said, by Krauf and allowed for Kaisama to stick it into the goal. And maybe finally Snider are trying to find their way around how Polyprep think about how they're going to approach the ball, when they're going to make the mistakes of a double commit, because when you're 2 games up, you can start making a couple more arrogant plays, confident plays, just feel like you're on top of the world, and that can lead to mistakes that can be really exploited.
It's your classic life of a grand champion scenario, leg day, where you're inches away from either being a Reddit highlight clip or an embarrassment in front of your team. And honestly, if you're Snider, you've got to hope that that complacency does start to sneak on in. Yes, of course, we want to see Poly playing at their best, but right now Snider know that they've got some tools in their arsenal. They know that Poly Esports aren't indestructible either, and hopefully the mental side of the game will start to go in their favor. Certainly another miss from Leon's is going to open the lane. What did I say, leg day? You come out ferocious, you come out with a press, and you get rewarded with a goal. The first lead of the series for Snider.
Aggression matches aggression, Ira Leak. You want to push 3 people forward? That's fine. We're going to have a look over at the open goal. We're going to grab the sniper rifle, which we didn't even know was allowed, and we're going to send it right the way there from midfield. It's going to be Modo God winning out the challenge on the midfield kickoff, but that's going to be a miss from Tiny, and Modo's got to try and rescue this one with the triple tap.
There's a lot that went on here. And not a lot of it good. I'm going to be honest with you, but Modo got the one to at least keep his cool. Rejigs his car into the right direction. And again, this is what I mean by having a lot of boost to work with. You can move your car around, maneuver it into a good position, even if you're not starting well. And ultimately, that is what has led to the equalizer. Unfortunate, really, as Krauthe gets another good challenge, and Leon required to make a save on Kaisama, still saying in that Fennec, don't blame him. Oh, that's a miss touch on the backboard, and they just about get away with it, Snider.
Oh, both of us just feeling that in our very bones, Ira Leak. Oh, okay, all the boost involved right now. Kraft's going to be on top speed, but no real boost to try and play with. Might make him useless in the following play. Still, Snider going to keep it in the air, keep it in the Poly Esports half before Leon's going to go for the clear. Was that a friendly demo?
No. Huh? You can have that if you have the right mutator on in private matches, but no. There was a blue player involved in there, and his life was very much extinguished. I mean, talking about extinguishing, though, a lovely challenge onto the backboard for Kais to try and open up another lane for Snider here. Nothing going to come of it. Leon's at the top of the box, looking for a double tap of his own. Kraus does get there. He keeps it up onto the backboard. To escort it away as players flying at him from both teams, from both sides, taken out for his troubles. But the clearance is what matters, and Snider once again get away with it.
Stopping the momentum and stopping the cross, but still Leon's got big designs on the forthcoming ball. Kaisama's already used some boost and maybe stuck in the air, but now, where's Modo going to go? That's the question. Too high up to the corner, but it might be well set up for Leon. Keep it safe, maybe. Tiny's going to be the one to pick that up, and now it's time for the second man. Leon brings it to center, but they can't quite get the connect on the shot.
It's essentially a driving test right now where they're being given plenty of instructions, and it's not about what you can do in terms of driving, it's about what you should do in terms of driving, and going for the short passing lanes are Poly and trying to just work their way around Snider. And unfortunately there, Tiny with a brute force attempt, it's not going to make its way through. The Snider defense much improved in game 3, but Naz with another whiff there. Moto goes into the middle. It's not going to reach Tiny though, and they are giving Snider a lot of time here to work with to try and move their way around. It's another challenge win. It's a decent clearance once again from Poly Esports as they try and counter themselves, but again, a lot of whiffs coming out, and for once, we're starting to see that unsureness that we saw at the beginning of Game 1 leg day, where Poly Esports are like, oh, we've actually got a challenge here. That is playing perfectly into Snider's hands.
Yeah, Snider might have an opportunity here as well, but Moto's going to keep that from being in the danger zone. Krauf's going to center, but there's no one really set up for it. Going to intercept this. Slight double commit there, maybe. Kai was ready with a pre-jump, but they are going to be able to send it high now. Trying to keep it up, try and pass it to someone who's got a good angle. Naz might be the one to do that, but it is going to be touched away by Poly.
Oh, and that was unfortunate. Emoto got close to connecting, just a little bit behind the ball. It's Leon's again taking out for his trouble, and Kraut gets back there in time. Wins the challenge, not the follow-up. Tiny far post, and that's another big save coming out from Naz. Down the other end, Motogod chases, Naz chases him, and a lovely pinch into his own backboard. Navigates his way around Naz. That is beautiful control, but another challenge win from Kais. Far post, he's not going to reach his teammate. Unfortunate, but more good ideas coming out from Snider.
Well pinched to try and get it towards the back. Now it's off the backboard. Is there going to be the setup here for Tiny? No, the clear there from Kraut. Well played by the captain. Moto just trailing in front of this ball, doesn't want to give away an easy dribble, and it is going to be taken away. That's on the goal line, but it is going to go wide. Right now, Kai thinking about the clear. With this many members of Polytech this close, might be better to go full on clear. Try and just relieve some of that pressure as Tiny's going to look to grab, but no, it's Leon's once again.
So many moments where you're just wincing at this game, thinking, oh, is it going to be a goal? And then somehow they're not able to convert it. Moto God there with another lovely challenge, but this is such a good press from Snider. The ball a little bit too weak to prove a dangerous shot, but that is a dangerous shot! Kraut, the captain! Oh, this is beautiful for Snider. Leon's, it's a poor clearance. Great pressure from Kai Samar. And there's only 30 seconds left now, leg day. But Poly Esports to get back into this. Snider are on the precipice of their first point in the series.
May have been looking for a dribble, but the only dribble I saw was from the slack jaws of a Poly Esports defense, so they witnessed that. Naz going to be missing right here, and Moto's trying to equalize. They want that overtime, or maybe even the victory off the forthcoming kickoff. Naz is going to back off right now. They don't want to double up on that dribble. That's a miss there from Kraut. Kai's going to try and rescue it off the backboard, but now it's back in possession of Leon. It's over Naz.
I'm such a fickle mistress, isn't it? Sometimes it works in your favor, and other times not so much. The ball will have to hit the ground for this game to end. Is there going to be a buzzer beater? It's off the backboard. It's more great defense. Motogod tries to keep it alive. Onto the sidewall, and it's another missed touch, and Snider have a point. And that is such a momentum shifter, leg day. They went from being slapped, multiple goals down, no goals scored. They got slapped, multiple goals down, but they at least scored some goals. They saw some opportunities to work with, and this game is where they converted. Poly Esports didn't know what to do with them. They started questioning their defense. They started questioning if they should be going for certain extravagant plays, and it has been put to the sword. What a series we have in prospect now.
Iteration, and iteration, Ireleague. That is where we are seeing the real comeback from Snider. They are seeing their mistakes and they're identifying them and they're fixing them on the fly. I don't know if they've had a chance to talk to their coaches yet. I don't think they've even had time. They will during our halftime break, but just within the communication structure of this team, they've figured out the weaknesses, they've figured out how to address them and how to try and exploit their opponent. And right now, it's starting to get a little bit spicy between these two. But you know what else is a kind of spice that I love, Ireleague?
Please tell me, leg day. I love me a bit of spice.
The spice you can get from beautiful chicken from Zaxby's. And Zaxby's is a proud sponsor of a high school esports league. There's no need to hit pause. You can order some Zaxby's famous chicken sandwiches and salads for pickup and delivery from a Zaxby's app or Zaxby's.com.
I can't wait to try me some of that chicken one day. Let me tell you. You've seen the adverts, folks. You've seen the adverts before. We've been here. We've been on this rodeo. And it's... I cannot wait. I can't wait to see more Rocket League, of course, as well. Especially if Tiny's going to pull off flexes like that. Another great shot. Another great save. And more great defense from Snider. Imagine if they were to tie this series up. I'm sure Twitch chat would go wild.
That would be incredible for both you and I as well, Ira League. I just want to cast more Rocket League. I don't know about you, but with players like this, all I want to see is more. Kraft's going to have to back off right now, but it's Leons who's all over the ball, puts it towards the box, but no one's really high enough to get the intercept, and that's going to be a powerful clear. Can anyone even get there in time? Yes, once again, it's Leons who can. The man who is all over the field.
But his influence has waned. It's worth saying, Leg Day, after a very impressive game 1 and 2, his influence has waned, and he's been really cut out of a lot of plays by Snider, who've been very quick onto him. I'm not sure they're doing a man-for-man scenario. Of course, only 3 players to work with, of course. But as the series goes on, Snider continue to wrestle control away from Poly Esports. Again, their defense looking a little bit lost right now, looking a little bit gormless, a little bit slack-jawed, as you were referencing earlier. It's almost as if the real Snider has come off. It's that real Magneto moment where they're looking for perfection. And Snider, well, there's still some way to go, but they are getting closer.
The helmet is on, the Professor X constraints are off, and Kaisum is once again in possession. Wants to run it downfield, but Modogod, our supersonic legend, says no. It's going to drop it into the box, but that's a good clearance from Snider right there to bring it back into possession. The aerial dribble is going to be running low on boost, so Leon's going to be able to steal that one away for free with very little in the way of challenge, and I was going to center it.
Tiny. Another mistouch, but it passed off to Modogod. It's another great example of this defensive rotation that Snider is setting up. A real counter-attacking mythology, really, that we're looking at here, where as soon as possession goes away from them, they reset to the back line, and they get away with it again. The woodwork required, and Modogod trying to win the challenge, but it's a strong Kaisama on the backboard. Leon's now that's the sort of perfect pass if you've got someone pushing up the field, but that confidence is starting to wane away, Leg Day. It's confidence that they need to refight and quick.
Oh, that's not a miss for Kaisama wanted. That's going to leave him out of the action on zero boost for a while. The same can be said of Leons. Needs that corner pad, but isn't able to get it. Needs to get away with the goal, but they won't. Kraft's going to put it in. What's distance achieved by Kraft right here? Lope. Later Modo, and Tiny's got no boost. It's a travesty.
What has happened to this series, Leg Day? What has happened to this series? Poly Esports, cool and calm as you like, strutting in here, expecting the crown to be placed on their heads. They think, look at these guys, pretenders to the throne. Why should we bother about them? This is why you need to bother about them. They are as good a Rocket League team as anyone else in this division, and they are pulling off save after miraculous save. It's another one by Naz, and another one. Fakes now attempting to come out from Leons, and it's another one. Read after read. Have they got the storybook out? Because this seems all too easy for Snider on the defensive front. Props to them. Props for turning this series on its head. Fascinating minute and a half left as we try to see if Poly can, I don't know, find some semblance of the groove they were in earlier.
Yeah, where's Game 1 Poly? I want to see where Game 1 Poly is. Poly wants a cracker and Poly wants a goal as well, but they're not going to get it. It's sent all the way downfield. Once again, Leon's going to place himself between the ball and the backboard to try and deny a rebound. Naz with a quick break right here, but doesn't want Leon's to steal it away from on top of him. Won't be able to get that boost, but maybe if a flip reset off the ceiling will do.
I'm loving this brothers in arms style mentality. Loving the brothers in arms mentality here. Every single mistake that is made, there is someone coming in immediately, and well, unfortunately, all of them were locked in arms, and it just didn't work. Tiny there, underneath everyone. It's a tie game, 60 seconds left.
See, that's the thing about Tiny, Ira Leak. Everyone's looking at the sky, but when you're going up against Tiny, you need to look down. Just not tall enough. It's going to go about even here on the kickoff. It's 1 minute remaining. It feels like this particular match has been going on for only a couple of seconds, but it has been 4 minutes. Once again, we're looking at that tie as we head in towards the end. Leon's going to have to try and get the dribble out right there, and it is going to be on top of them. Remember, this has gone wrong for them before.
Oh, that's fortunate for Leon. Naz on the backboard. Challenge 50-50. Another challenge 50-50. And taking control is Naz, looking for the pinch. No, he's not going to look for the pinch. He's going to look for the little doink over. It falls to Leon's eventually. And again, picking up possession is Krauth. Another miss. They're struggling to get out of their own half, Snider. And here they go again, Kais. A little doink forwards, but again, this Poly Esports, that one goal might have changed the face of this very game, leg day.
They will have done so. Tiny wants to try and beat the buzzer right here as we head towards overtime, but it's going to be Kai with the clear. Still, this is in play. It needs to hit the ground first. If it does, we're going to overtime.
And for those unfamiliar with overtime, of course, it's a golden goal scenario. It doesn't matter how long these two teams play, they have got to be separated by a final goal. We have seen competitive overtimes last mere seconds. The longest one in competitive Rocket League history currently sitting at 16 minutes in length. That is 3 times the amount of a regular Rocket League match. It's a free shot. Kaisamar, lucky to be demoed actually. He takes out Tiny as well and tries to extract this from his half. It's been all Poly in the final minutes, but that's a shot. It's a massive save from Modo God. And we really are hanging on a knife edge here. We could have Poly taking match point control of the series, or we could have ourselves a tie series.
Krauth tries to bounce it off the corner, puts it into the box, but it's Tiny who's once again in possession. Wants to beat out Naz, but isn't going to be able to do it. Modo fares slightly better, but going up against 2 defenders with a double commit, this might not be what he wanted. It's so close to the start of the goal right here. Tiny thinks he sees his shot, but it's denied there by Krauth. Oh, captain, my captain, he never lets me down. Naz is in the air, but doesn't quite get the flip reset they wanted. And now it feels like Polytech is ready for a counter-attack, but Leon's is facing the wrong way.
Oh, Krauth has been a man mountain for Snider. Everything good is going through him. Every major save, every major assist, every crucial goal that draws them closer and closer to that $3,000 scholarship prize. Modo God underneath of the on-rushing Naz. And there he is again. Mr. Fantastic. He's put on the cape, but unfortunately he's not made contact when he needed it most. It's another doink attempting to go over the defense, and Tiny takes control. A very fortuitous 100 boost pickup there. Looking for another doink of his own. It's round Naz. It's into the corner. It's round the second defender. And is Leon's. Is it on target? Yes, it's off the crossbar. Oh, and Modo God missed it. Oh, it's at the worst time when you needed the connection. And they go again. No, they don't. They're actually completely resetting here, Polly. It's a double commit. Communication's gonna bust.
It's a brand new connection. It's a brand new world, and Leon's going to be trying to open it up to all of his adoring fans. Going around the side, he needs to beat up a defender, but won't be doing that. Tiny finds it in midair, is going to plant it before the goal, but there is going to be a midair interception again. Still, Poly keep up the pressure, but they need to worry about the potential for the counter-attack. That's where Snider's been at their best, when they see the triple commit, when they see everyone moving forward and the rotations getting slack. They are going to clear that away from the goal, but Tiny doesn't have the power to put it in. But guess who does? Leon's coming from the back.
He's been quiet all game long, and when they need him most, it's not the touch that Tiny was looking for, but it was actually the touch that works perfectly. Set up on a plate for Leon's, and that is match point control of the series for Poly Prep Esports. They are 1 win away from the grand prize, and Snider, well, they're sent back to the drawing board. Look at the shot count for Poly Prep there. 17 on target. It wasn't for the want of trying. Snider's defense was just too good.
I wasn't unconvinced I was casting Rocket Goal with that Rocket Goal Thief, and with that absolute tee-up that we saw from Tiny, just putting it up on a pedestal like, hey, here you go, Leon. You want to reclaim that spot at the top of the, like, on-field presence meter? I will give that to you. And Modo also doing a really good job to get the defense into such a tangled position where the comms were so hectic, everyone just scrambling everything they can to try and get that ball away from the goal.
And ultimately, it's now a very good scenario, I think, for Snider, honestly, because in a normal Rocket League best of 7, it'd be one after the other, after the other, after the other. That's not how it works here at the High School Esports League, where we are now actually going to have a 5-minute break for the players as they just cool down, relax, as we let some of our wonderful associates do the talking on screen for you, some wonderful sponsors to keep an eye on. And yeah, Snider, they're going to be thankful that they weren't going straight away into another match, because that is all the incentive that Polly needed to put the knife to the throat.
That was an absolute show, Ira Lake, and I am very excited to see how this continues to go on. We'll be right back with you guys after this break. Poly are in the lead. Poly Prep are prepped for a victory. 3-1 this on match point as we come back, Ira League, and this has been a really spicy matchup. I'm very, very excited about what we've been seeing thus far, but I'm also really, really excited about all of the organizations that are showing support for High School Esports, our wonderful sponsors. You can see them down below, but I'm going to tell you right now about the National Guard, because like in the Army National Guard, you can start a career in exciting fields like science, communications, engineering, and medicine. And that's all while you earn money to further your education. And you can get paid to learn skills in these high demand and rewarding professions, all while serving part-time in your local community, in your state, and of course your nation as well. And to learn how to become a citizen soldier, you should visit thenationalguard.com. That is just nationalguard.com.
Shout out to all of the wonderful men and women putting themselves out there to protect so many core values. And, well, speaking of core values in the world of esports that we work in, of course, I think that Snider have a lot to be proud of here today. They have not just come back from a bad position, but they've then excelled. And I think they can count themselves a little bit unlucky with how the match unfolded last time out in game number 4, of course.
I agree.
Overtimes are difficult. They could stretch on for ages. You can one momentary lapse of concentration. It can all go awry. And yes, that is what happened. It's why Polyprep find themselves one win away from the $3,000 prize pool, of course, for scholarship for all 3 of these players. But they shouldn't count themselves out. Not at all. They've had a longer break now to go away, to say, okay, we were doing some good things these last 2 games. Let's just try and wrestle back momentum into our favor. Of course, Poly Prep, they want to get this done as quickly as possible. They do not want to give Snider a second sniff of this series. So the players are returning to the field leg day. Let's see how this one progresses.
They've had some time, of course, to talk to their coach as well, which is incredibly important. Getting that overarching view of how things are going. It is going to be Snider with a little bit of advantage off kickoff. Kaisuma's feeling pretty frisky on it. The same can be said of Krauth, but it's not quite on target with the shot. Now we're just going to try and re-establish control, rotate back, get some boost management going, and get the lay of the land.
Nice infield. Nice little pass off to Krauth here. One of the star players for me. Even if he's on the losing team, what an impression he has made and what a presence he's had. It's a demo. Oh, all he had to do was put it on target, Kais, and it would have been 1-0. It's still loose. It's Leon's. He has it taken off him by Tiny, actually. Miscommunication there. And Krauth there puts it away from ModoGod. Falls to Tiny. Leon's on the far side. Round the corner. Gets that second touch. But the defense is too much from Snider. Or is it? It's a free shot for Tiny. And away by Snider they go.
Kai misses that one. It feels like we had 2 attempts at a touch, but neither of them did connect. Tiny now. Oh, that's absolutely filthy. What an angle taken there by Tiny. It's just a little tap off the wheel. Very hard to do, but boy, do I love it when it works.
And unfortunately, while Krauth was at home doing the chores, Naz was off at the shops. He didn't really know what he wanted. He ended up looking at the store for too long. And by the time he got home, there was a robbery, the front door was open, and a goal was scored. Poly Esports are going to be wiping sweat off their brow once again in a good position to take this series away from Snider. It's a free shot for Naz, but again, not really going to trouble Modo. Kais around the corner, and no one willing to commit on this occasion. Snider have their lives on the line now here, leg day. They've got to press, they've got to get an equalizer, or we are all wrapped up here in the Rocket League Finals.
3 players met in midair. Very, very strange coincidence. It's off the backboard, but it's not quite the setup that Poly wanted. They're going to be a little bit wide of the net, and it's an absolute melee between so many players. Where's the third man is the question. Modo is credited with a shot, but it's not quite the angle that they wanted. And Leon's right now needs to get this boost, needs to try and make sure that this ball is cleared away, and it's going to be Modo who's going to be all on top of this, but it's straight to the defense, and Tiny's going to be able to maybe set this up for Leon. They've got the setup. Modo wants to finish, but he's going to miss.
And after the counter-attack, maybe no, Naz gives it away. Tiny, he's a little bit too far forward, and that read is poor. Kaisamar, the doink over one. Modo completely misses, not for the first time. And Kraut, all on his own, really. He's got 36 boost behind him. Oh, it's
a melee
it slows
again.
Down. It really is, yeah. It just slows down to a crawl, and that's what's allowing the Poly defense to survive again. Snider, you got to be quicker, you got to be punchier, you've got to have a direction to go in.
Rocket League or Demolition Derby, you decide. Modo says Demolition Derby for sure. Sends it downfield right now is Snider, but it's going to be straight into the welcoming arms of the defense. There's no one there to catch it, so that's just free possession. And a chance to reset here, really, because Tiny has big ideas. You can see that Leon was thinking about making that shot, but couldn't really beat out the challenge. Heads back into midfield, and Tiny's going to take it down towards the Snider goal. They're just keeping up the pressure right now, not allowing for any offensive momentum to build up.
Midfield presence. That seems to be what is the order of the day here for Poly Esports. Close down any sort of counter-attack. And Kraut forced backwards. Takes it off Kaisamar, really. Just poor communication, but it falls kindly for Kaisamar. It's 1v1, a lot of boost. And Modo God does well, just to bat it away. Another missed touch, really. Leons takes control. And Leons, again, really, after a quiet couple of games, starting to come back into his own. Over to the far side. He's going to be there once again. First, foremost, with a win, but the ball flies a little bit too far. Tiny now to the backboard. Here's Modo God, and the shot woefully wide.
Leon, the ever-present right now, once again getting that intercept, just keeping it in midfield. That's where Poly are getting their bread buttered right now. Snider, you have a little bit of possession, but no, they lose out on the 50. Modo manages to win that one, sets it off towards the goal. Graf can't quite reach it. He needs to be a little bit taller than that, bud. You must be at least this tall to save this goal.
Modo does everything right for the first part. Naz misses, and Kraut, who's been impervious for so long, one of my players of the day, just completely misreads the situation. He was expecting Naz to make a successful intervention, but talking of interventions, a kickoff goal of the absurdities. 67 seconds left, and Snider are still in this.
Just gonna flip, spin, turn it around town. It's time to put it in reverse, and Snider want to try and equal up here or even overtake. A second kick-up goal wouldn't go amiss right here, but that may be a little bit too much intervention for any god to handle. Tiny's going to put it back towards his own defenders to make sure that the control has remained as low. Oh, good lord.
Now that was a proper quality shot, and it had an even better save to meet it. Wonderful control from Leon, who again is up there upfield. The pinch is going to go over to the far side. A reminder, Poly of course still in the lead of this 2-1. And so things still looking all right for them as things stand. 35 seconds left is not a lot of time to find a goal. Naz trying to palm it off to Kaisamar, but he's got no boost to work with. Neither player has much boost to work with. Leon had plenty. It's a lovely clearance. And is it on target? No. Is it going to be on target? No. Still a chance for Snider to break away now into the midfield. It's Naz, but that's a lovely interception from Modo God. Kraut with no boost. It's a pinch. Oh, it's a really good pinch. It goes all the way down the other side, but straight into the palms of Leon's leg day, and time is a cruel mistress once again.
4 seconds to remain in this tournament. They need that last goal. It needs to be the buzzer beater. They need to get overtime, but just shy of the net. It hits the ground. It needed more power, but it just wasn't there. Poly Prep walk away with the 4 and the 1.
Oh, Snyder, my heart breaks for you. There were two glorious opportunities to tie it up there. The first shot, I think it was Naz who it went so far wide you would have forgiven for thinking it was a pass. And then at the end, goal on a plate. And the ball hits the ground at the wrong time. Polyprep, I think, deserving winners. Their quality shining through. But we've got to give some credit to Snider here. They hung on. They hooked in an anchor and held on for as long as they could. Ultimately, it wasn't their day.
Yeah, especially Krauth. There's such good car control. It really felt like Krauth was very much, as a captain, for one who continued to keep them in contention for every single match, apart from maybe that first one. As a guy who really knows his way around his hardware. But if no, you know your way around your hardware, you know that you need to get on the Asus ROG Tough Line, guys, because they're the official hardware sponsor of High School Esports League and the Fall Major of 2020. And they're globally recognized as the #1 gaming brand worldwide and used by elite school esports teams. So why wouldn't you want to join the ranks of those who are using the Asus ROG Tough range?
Why wouldn't you? It's not a question. It's a threat, chap. Why wouldn't you want to use Asus products? You tell me. I'm going to use Asus products, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and watch some fantastic content on my Asus monitor. Speaking of fantastic content, you'll be seeing some during our ad break.
At Zaxby's, we've got a simple formula for delicious chicken. What goes down hand-breaded comes up golden brown. Try our world-famous chicken fingers on the Big Zax Snack or the Kickin' Chicken Sandwich. Only at Zaxby's.
It was a hard-fought battle here at our HSEL Fall Major for Rocket League, but in the end, we have to admit that Polyprep were by far the definitive winners and by far our best team in this bracket. And they're walking away with a bunch of scholarship money, but they're also walking away with a little bit of broadcast time because we've got the big boy, the master of the midfield, Leon's here. And Leon's, tell me a little bit about your journey with this team during this season.
I mean, it's been pretty good from the start. We were coming in hot off of our spring season where we came second, and luckily we got a young superstar, Tiny, who's a freshman. He kind of sped us up a bit, and I just want to give a shout out to him for helping us through this, because without him it would have been pretty rough. Yeah.
Certainly taken a step up. If you look at just the outset of things as well, of course, losing to Ridgewood last time out, you're now no longer the bridesmaids, but you're the full bride with full dress and all. How does it feel to be champions? Because this has been, on the face of it, actually quite an easy road for you. Not really losing many major battles in terms of series until the semi-finals, where you lost a couple of games here and there. How tough were Snider as opponents, and how much of a relief, how rewarding is it to now be able to call yourselves champions?
Well, Snider, we played against them in round 2 of this season, and I think we beat them 4-2. So we knew they were manageable, but obviously, we had to prepare for anything. So in the end, we just played it like any other game, I guess, and it ended up okay.
It's nice to hear
When
some
it
humbleness.
comes,
Oh, sorry, go on.
when it comes to any other game, like you said, I'm really curious as to how are Polyprep different from every other team in this bracket? What makes you guys as good at Rocket League as you are?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give my pal Tiny too much praise, but he's like basically the one that holds us together in all of this, like texting us, messaging us all the time to get on and practice. So, I mean, yeah, if you practice enough, good things will happen, I guess.
And practice is where I'm going to bring in Modo God into the conversation, of course. If you look at rank wise, he's the highest amongst you, and yet certainly from my position as a Mr. Rocket League commentator, I would say that you were out there strutting your stuff a little bit quiet in a couple of games, but for the majority of the series, really leading from the front and taking control. Do you think it was a little bit of an off day for Modo, or was it just about, as you say, having a bit of a cool, calm, and humble approach to this game where anything can happen and just enjoy your Rocket League?
Yeah, I mean, Moto's great. He's, as Rocket League players say, he's absolutely cracked. So, I feel like, um, if I feel like he could have showed up more if we needed him more. Not to put Snider down or anything, but Moto was probably not playing at his full potential. Yeah.
Let Moto conserve his energy. And for what they are conserving your energy for, I'm going to drag us out of the game and draw our brains into the future. And I want to know what kind of plans you guys have, Leons, for college and for the future of this team, perhaps.
Well, the eldest of us, or oldest, I don't know. We're juniors, so we're still looking at another solid year after this, and that'll be good. Especially like this big win will probably bring more attention to the program and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds. And with colleges, I can't lie, I haven't really been thinking as much as I should about colleges, but I'm sure there's something for me.
You know what, Leons? I respect it. Sometimes I just have a day where it's just Rocket League on my brain. I'm not thinking about colleges, but that's also because I'm past that in terms of age now. I'm a bit of a boomer.
Of course, of course.
But thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on your victory. It's been a wonder watching you play, and I hope I get to see some more of you again.
Thank you, thank you.
What a nice kid. To be fair, the majority of them are, though, leg day. I think a lot of these guys, they have their futures ahead of them. You know, us two old men of the esports league. Oh, we've had our time. These guys have so much ahead of them, and to have $1,000 each to go towards scholarship, ultimately, whether you've made your choice or whether you haven't made your choice in terms of colleges moving forward, that's such a lovely safety net to have, and to think that you can earn it through playing Rocket League, through playing esports. What a world we live in.
Well, I am very glad to have existed in this esports world with you, Ira Leak. It's been an absolute pleasure casting with you. And for all of you guys in the chat, don't forget the name. That's the four-wheeled fury of Ira Leak over there. Everything you need about cars and commentating, you want to check him out. And I have been leg day, and that has concluded the Rocket League portion of the broadcast. But do not worry, guys, because coming right up after a break, you've got the HSEL Fall Fortnite Invitational. It's going to be absolutely manic. There's loads of scholarship money on the line, and we've got some excellent casters as well. You are not going to want to miss that. Stay tuned.